Court documents reveal that Sarah Boone wants upwards of $90,000 from Brian Boone. Let's talk about it. Hello, you guys. Welcome back. Sarah Boone has been a busy bee, so you know what that means. We have a lot to discuss. Apparently, James Owens is really on a hiatus. He is maybe in the witness protection program because his phone is allegedly going to voicemail, his website is shut down, and his law firm is closed. After what some would call a career-ending, embarrassing attempt at a battered spouse defense, where he openly assisted his client in attacking her victim and the Torres family, all while having a rumored infatuation with her. Some people are still looking for James, and they want answers. Well, when I was going down the Sarah Boone rabbit hole a few weeks back, I came across a really interesting Reddit post that seemed to sum up exactly what we all feel about the Sarah and James connection. Let's read it. Social media commenter Fast Jackfruit wrote, I think that, like most people here, I gave James Owen the benefit of the doubt when he first parachuted into the case. I think we all were grateful we didn't have to deal with her as a pro se through the course of an entire trial. But very quickly, I came to despise him almost as much as I despise her. He seems to have fully internalized all her cluster B personality disorders and to become as entitled, as delusional, as abusive, and repulsive as Sarah herself. She practiced social and psychological Darvo on George and others. He practiced legal Darvo. Sidebar, if you aren't familiar with Darvo, it's an acronym. It stands for Deny, Attack, Reverse Victim, and Offender. It's a manipulation tactic used by abusers. His entire approach to the case was to try to gaslight the world by convincing us that up is down and white is black.
So there were attempts to settle it. I was kind of like a mediator.
And he was utterly abusive. His attitude towards George's family was disgraceful. I have absolutely no respect for him and no pity. Let him ride into the sunset and into obscurity. Another commenter wrote, whatever agenda he had when he took on her case totally backfired. I think he thought he might make a name for himself, but instead people lost all respect for him. He can twist in the wind for all I care. I have no sympathy for him. He signed up for that BS. In response, someone wrote, 15 years sounds sexy as F to me if I've done nearly 5 already. It's the sideways look she gives Owens when she refuses the deal. That's the tell. He got locked in after that. And I remember that moment exactly when it happened. Let's take a look.
Do you understand that if we were to proceed to trial in this matter, and if you were found guilty, the lowest permissible sentence that the court could levy in this case would be 22.5 years in the Department of Corrections? Do you understand that? Do you understand the state's offer to resolve this case? Okay.
The offers 15 years to a lesser included charge of manslaughter, with the understanding that she would serve 85% of that sentence.
That's up to the department and her behavior, but that is my understanding of the section.
Ma'am, understanding the state's offer, do you wish to accept or reject the state's offer to resolve this case?
Reject.
Sarah can't get a lot of help from the appeals department, so she's busy in the library on her own, and she's gunning for Brian, you guys. In the latest documents filed, Sarah wants her custody agreement upheld and her alimony, and she wants arrears up to almost $60,000. Sarah is demanding back pay for alimony from the day she was arrested. In addition, she's claiming a property value upwards of $50,000. It barely looked like she spent $5,000 on total everything in her home, let alone $50,000. And why didn't she use any of these items for her survival? It looks like Brian is her new target since she's locked away and doesn't have access to anyone else. George is gone. The Torres family has put her in the rear view, and there's no one else to bother except for Brian. And it looks like that's just what she's doing. In her latest filings, Sarah is accusing Brian of parental alienation. Yes, although she's in prison, locked away for presumably the rest of her life, she's accusing Brian of parental alienation. In addition to that, she's claiming that she had expensive jewelry and furniture and heirlooms that were almost another, let's say, $50,000, and she wants Brian to pay. Oh, and her vehicle too. Sarah is pretty much making claims that when she was arrested, Brian promised her to keep her belongings safe, meaning her apartment, her car, storage facility, personal items, bank account, bills, basically her whole life. She expected Brian to keep her entire life afloat during the 5 years that she's been incarcerated. Is it possible Sarah found a legal loophole? Is Brian responsible legally, although he's not her husband? Leave a comment below. Can being a nice guy lead to Brian legally being obligated to provide Sarah's or maintain Sarah's lifestyle? I'd love to know. If you have any idea, please leave a comment below. Technically, Brian is her former husband, and legally he would just be a friend to her. And you would typically have friends or family help you in a situation like such, but Sarah doesn't have any of those. She killed her only friend and George and ran everyone off. As far as her property, her car could have been impounded by the city, and if she didn't claim it, it would be sold. And her apartment, if 30 to 90 days went by without rent being paid, she'd be evicted. And if she's not there to claim her property, it would have simply been set on the curb and left for the public to rummage through. So all of her alleged expensive furniture and family heirlooms would be gone in a sense. I'm assuming her argument is if she was to still be receiving her $1,000 monthly alimony payment, she would have been able to maintain her lifestyle while behind bars. The $1,100 alimony payment has been in question, and we've all wildly speculated if Sarah is legally entitled to those payments while she's behind bars. I personally don't think she deserves the payments or even is entitled to the payment. However, I'm not a judge, so we have to really wait to see what the judge says. This whole trial has been postponed pending Sarah's murder trial. However, now it's gearing up and Sarah is ready for a fight. Sarah has been writing this same court accusing them of prejudice, neglect, and allowing Brian to financially abuse her. We went over one of those letters in detail, and Sarah was documenting every conversation, every time that she asked Brian for something, every time he hung up on her, the tone that he had, verbatim what he said, and it looks like she's been creating documentation this whole time. So I really hope that Brian has a strong legal team, because that's a large amount of money, and he's a brand new single parent. But we know that won't stop Sarah Boone and her courtroom antics. So let's head over to the courtroom for a refresher course, and Sarah trying to convince us all of her new new story, while James slowly walks her into a life sentence.
What mental state did you have at that time?
I was very confused. It was very hazy. I didn't understand the monumental amount of people that were there and what they were doing with taking things from my home. I was worried about my dogs. I was worried about my son. I was in shock. I was traumatized by the situation, and then trying to focus on everything that was going on at my home. I was hungover. I was still, I believe, intoxicated to a degree.
Objection, Judge. Move to strike.
Brian and his legal team has to be prepared for Sarah and all of her shenanigans. At this point, she's a pro.
Judge, we're talking about, I'm just getting some preliminary information.
But
Her interrogation is the next day.
And this is just a preview of what Brian has to look forward to at his upcoming custody and alimony court date with Sarah. She can barely bottle up her excitement. You can see it on her face. It's like she thinks she's the smartest person in the room. But will this backfire in her court case with Brian like it did with George? Has Sarah come to the end of the road, or does she have a valid legal argument? What is Sarah going to do with upwards of $90,000? What would she do with $50,000 or $60,000? Will this money go to her rumored New York legal team? Will it go towards her new appeal? What would Sarah do with that much money other than becoming a prison queen pin? I'd love to know your thoughts on what exactly you think Sarah would do, or what is she planning with this money? And in the event that Brian did say, hey, I'll look out for your stuff for you, or I'll take care of your stuff till you get home, would he legally be obligated? Would she need something in writing? Would they need a contract? Would it just need to be verbal or written? And is she even legally entitled to the money in the first place?
Point were the detectives directing you what to do and where to go?
Yes.
Okay. So, somebody had to do it. I was doing it.
before release, are you satisfied with your attorney so far throughout this trial? State, anything we need to address?
Not from the state.
Defense?
No, sir.
All right, Ms. Boone, I just got a couple of inquiries of you, ma'am, before release. Are you satisfied with your attorney so far throughout this trial?
Definitely.
And are you on board with the strategy that they've employed so far in this trial?
Definitely.
All right, thank you very much. We'll be in recess till 2 o'clock. Court's off the record.
I was watching porn with my she don't like that. I'm not shrugging my shoulders or anything like that. Like it's not no big deal.
After you begged and pled and cried.
Yeah.
We trust you.
I know. I'm not shrugging my.
Say it. Begged, pled, cried.
You begged.
I didn't. You did.
Well, whatever. I know. Okay, yeah, I did.
Say it.
I begged and
Pled and cried. For me to trust you.
For you to trust me. But again, I'm not sure.
Did you?
Did I watch porno again? Yes, I did. But
Good.
And 11, what is the location of your emergency? 4748 France Court, apartment 3.
4748, what's the street name?
France, Frantz.
And the apartment number?
3.
Is this a police or medical?
My boyfriend is dead. Please! Okay, he just gurgled.
Okay. Listen to me. All right. I want you to place the heel of your hand. Okay, right between his chest, right between his breastbones.
Yes.
Put your other hand on top of that hand.
Yes,
We want to pump his chest to me hard and fast, going to this twice per second.
I'm doing it again.
Okay, no, just keep on pumping. That's all you need to do for me. Keep on pumping his chest for me. I don't need you to stop and talk or anything. I just want you to count out loud for me, okay?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. This is mixing.
Okay, ma'am, just keep on pumping his chest. That's all you need to do for me, okay?
Yes. Come on, please, hurry up.
Okay, ma'am, they're driving here as fast as they can. Okay, don't stop to say hurry up. Just keep on pumping and counting.
I'm still doing it while I'm talking to you, okay?
Okay.
I've had to lie to you guys 3 times.
And you shouldn't have to do that, so let's make this maybe the last time.
Now I'm not lying.
And I appreciate that, okay? And keep going, okay?
They're gonna come and tell me.
Who's that?
Just like I told the other sheriff, they're gonna come and tell me.
Okay. If you,
I want you to know that. Look.
if you're in fear, are you talking about
Yes.
family?
Yes.
Okay. So
I want you to know, I am full blown. They're gonna come and tell me.
go down to the courthouse, okay, and get an injunction against them. Did you get the pamphlet for the victim's rights pamphlet? Okay, so you know that there's a place where you can
They're
go tonight?
going to come and tell me.
Okay, so you got the victim's rights pamphlet, you know there's a place you can go tonight then? It's in the bed?
Domestic, I'm gonna go sleep over her house.
Perfect.
Neighbors.
Okay. You have any more questions?
Can I get drunk?
This one. Not working. I get in trouble for that. Okay, have a good day. Okay, that's good enough. I know. Thank you. Okay.
I love it.
That's fine. Okay. Have a good day, miss.
And whatever the fuck he says,
Okay,
tell him
yes,
to
okay.
be a dick. Hey.
Okay, have a good day. Thank you. Okay, have a good day.
Tell him to, thank you.